Welcome viewers to a very special edition of the Obscure Review for this Halloween season. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to a most horrifying sight. The top 5 obscure horror games you probably have never played.
Is that candle scented?
Shut up, Jamie. Number 5. Haunting Ground. Take the Clock Tower series, add a strong, more adult narrative that dabbles in some of the darkest subject matter you'll ever see explored in video games, and you have Haunting Ground. A terrifying survival horror title in which you play as the mostly harmless Fiona and try to avoid the violent residents of the castle you have become imprisoned in. With only a dog named Huey acting as your ally, you'll venture through the harrowing hallways, solving puzzles, hiding from unwanted stalkers, and running for your life. The graphics have aged well, even to this day, with some really impressive character models and environments. The game's held back a little by somewhat predictable gameplay, but generally remains strong throughout. If you like Clock Tower, this is definitely worth playing.
Can I do the next one?
Only if you do the creepy voice for the title.
Okay, number 4, The Cursed Mountain.
It wasn't bad, that.
You know, okay. Cursed Mountain was originally a Wii exclusive and later a PC title where you play as Eric, who ventures into the Himalayas when his brother goes on an expedition and doesn't return. With an excellent and unique mountain setting, as well as a story steeped in Tibetan folklore, this is not the kind of horror premise you normally see on the market. And what's even better is that it's pretty great. The pacing is strong, there are times when the atmosphere is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Unfortunately, the controls are somewhat clunky, particularly in the Wii version, which is the one I've experienced, and they hold the title back from being a true classic. That said, if you're looking for a ghost story to enjoy this Halloween, you could do a lot worse.
Number 3. Eternal Darkness. Are you ready to venture to the very edge of sanity?
Not really, that sounds kind of terrifying.
Jesus, Jamie, that was a rhetorical question.
Oh.
Anyway, Eternal Darkness is a survival horror game like no other, in that it messes with your mind. Remember the trippy battle against Psycho Mantis in Metal Gear Solid? Imagine they made a whole game like that. Eternal Darkness puts you in the role of Alexandra, who finds herself reliving the lives of several individuals from different time periods after she discovers a mysterious book when investigating her grandfather's murder. The game is your typical survival horror fare, with terrible monsters, under-equipped protagonists, and a variety of tense settings. Where it really shines above all others, though, is in its sanity system. As the playable characters encounter more horrifying places and creatures, their sanity starts to dip. As your sanity meter gets lower, your character may start to hallucinate. This can be anything from randomly hallucinating that their head has fallen off, to blood dripping from the ceiling. Cruelest of all, though, is when the game pretends to delete all of your save files. Of all the terrors to behold in this title, we're sure this one has made people scream the most.
Number 2. Deep Fear.
I like the dramatic pause.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? Deep Fear. The final game to be released in European territories for the Sega Saturn, it's a chilling take on the survival horror genre. Similar to the earlier Resident Evil titles, Deep Fear sees you navigate protagonist John Mayer through a naval research facility deep beneath the ocean. If you're into Resident Evil, then this is right up your alley. The game plays like the underwater spin-off to the franchise, even going so far as to incorporate terrible voice acting and first aid sprays. It doesn't go on without its own merits, however. The watery setting brings its own interesting spins on the genre, including the threat of asphyxiation if certain areas aren't all oxygenated correctly. Those with a fear of drowning perhaps may want to look elsewhere.
And number 1. White Day. A labyrinth named school. In some Asian cultures, White Day marks the date exactly 1 month after Valentine's Day, where men would traditionally give gifts of candy to women they were romantically interested in. In this game, you play as a young teenager doing just that. He sneaks into school at night to leave his love interest some chocolate for her to find at her desk in the morning. What happens next, though, is a nightmare scenario for any young student. You get locked in the school. From then on, you have to escape the place, but it is now a dark, twisted imitator of its regular daily appearance. Ghosts haunt the hallways, the janitors are out to kill you, and there's lots of other freaky things going on. In fact, the rumour is that this first-person adventure game was originally so scary that the developers had to patch it to take some of the edge out, as users were too frightened by the game's content to finish it. While originally a Korean title, the game now exists as abandonware, and a free English version of the game is available to download at a link in the description. Though graphically, it's a little dated, and the lack of further support from the original developers has left a lot of glitches unpatched, the game still stands the test of time, with a truly atmospheric vibe throughout its duration that relies on slow, building tension instead of jump scares. With multiple endings and story arcs, there's also a great deal of replayability, but if you play through this game more than once, you are a braver man than I.
So there you have it. Some of the most overlooked horrors the gaming medium has to offer. If you think we've missed any truly terrifying titles, then let us know in the comments section. Until next time.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.